Many of the leading ideologues and artists of the Italian Renaissance were profoundly influenced by Hermetic themes, and even the noted father of scientific rationalism and father of enlightenment, Sir Isaac Newton, had a long-standing interest in Hermetic and alchemical treatises. And the Masonic involvement of such U.S. founding fathers as Paul Revere, George Washington and Ben Franklin has been sufficiently documented elsewhere. Are we to hold these tenets, as far-fetched and superstitious as they may seem, to be bygone relics of a distant and unenlightened era? Or has their influence on world history been actually more prevalent than appearances lead one to believe? Yet, fears of repercussion can lead to more legitimate, even sinister concerns than merely unpopular or superstitious belief. Is the very clandestine nature of such organizations masking intents that are detrimental to the well-being of society as a whole? Has their infiltration into every specter of political thought and action become so widespread that they are an entrenched, if subterranean, part of our current world structure? Are their agendas born out of domination and the need for revenge? Do their actions compromise the integrity of any free-thinking and upstanding social mechanism? In a time in which public discourse allows for the open, if critical, exchange of ideas and thoughts, what is so dangerous that members conceal their identity in dire oaths of secrecy? In short, what are these societies trying to hide? The fact is, the trails of these societies can lead to some disturbing associations and occurrences and paint a much more damning picture than mere unconvention. Trails of murder, crime, political intrigue and conspiracy are so prevalent that merely painting them as purveyors of an unsophisticated belief system is to betray the very dangers that they pose. Some of the most seemingly innocuous and benign organizations, such as the Society of Jesuits, spin a much more dire and noxious web of deceit than you would ever think to imagine upon critical examination, as you will soon find out. One reason for the continued allure of secret societies lays in the very exclusivity their secrecy engenders. No longer misguided believers in illogical mumbo-jumbo, members are holders of forbidden knowledge sternly safeguarded from the prying eyes of profane and critical non-believers. No longer mere citizens, by dint of their immersion in a subterranean world of exotic and ritualized customs, members become possessed of power and influence unimaginable to their merely mortal neighbors. Even at a time in which the rapid and unconstrained transmission of information threatens the very security of such formerly hidden membership and knowledge, the true believer takes it upon his or herself for granted that the traditions of deceit and concealment they choose to partake in is inviolable and beyond reproach. The question is for how long? While preparing for the research in this book, it struck me that two distinct classifications could be made for distinguishing a secret society. The first would be the more visible, or overt secret society. Generally speaking, these are organizations which maintain a highly visible public profile, accessible by means of phone book, internet or even highly publicized physical appearances. These organizations frequently solicit or court membership, assuring the would-be candidate that their very openness, visibility and culpability should be sufficient insurance against nefarious and fraudulent intentions, instead insisting either that there are no secrets, or sometimes even half-mockingly referring to such supposed secrets as largely irrelevant traditions, bygone remnants of a much earlier time holding no greater power than a deferral to routine. The would-be candidate is then lulled into a sense of security and relaxation. Surely, these guys must not be hiding anything since they're willing to take the time to talk to little old One such glaring example of an overt secret society is Freemasonry. Masquerading under the guise of benevolent philanthropy and civic duty, members are now widely viewed as little more than a charitable social club cloaked in colorful costume and ritual, one whose membership numbers are slowly dwindling due to decreased interest among younger generations. And for all ostensible purposes, at your local Masonic lodge level, that's likely to be the case, so much so, that in many regions of the U.S., Freemasonry has had to launch a highly visible public relations campaign to ensure its continued interest and survival.